Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and today we're going to move a little bit of dirt. This pile behind me is topsoil that I just peeled off of the ground right over here. I dug this drainage swale that's probably 150, 200 foot long, peeled off all this topsoil, and I did that for two reasons. Number one, I wanted a swale right here to drain water into the pond. But number two, to me, I think of topsoil as a valuable resource that I can use for a lot of different purposes. And that's what we're gonna do today. So this has, that top foot of grass. Nowhere over here did I go more than a foot deep. And it's got a high percentage of sod in this pile. And I wanna spread it in a few places. Actually, before I talk about anything else, let's go look at where I'm gonna put this. So I did my pond expansion about 18 months ago, and I built this bank up, but I built the bank out of clay. And the entire time I had the intention of spreading a layer of topsoil on it, never got around to that. And so that's a perfect use for this pile. But I don't want to spread it while it's all clumpy. So I'm going to try to stir it up a little first. But this is one area that in 18 months, all we've got is some patchy little weeds here. And still big patches of bare dirt. And as we come over this way, I dug this ditch right here, so there's an overflow for the pond right here. And then when the pond overflows, that water is supposed to hit this ditch and run down to the drainage ditch by the road. And we haven't had it overflow yet, but we have had enough rain that I can see water's flowing down this. But it's not pulling water from over there. Water is still standing on that side of my drainage ditch. I need that water moving this way. So I need to raise that area. But that does have nice grass across it. So I just want to add like a 1 or 2 inch layer on top of that, of this topsoil. I think probably the first thing I need to do is actually get the transit over here and see what the height difference is between this spot and my ditch. Set my gauge for the height of the edge of this. I wonder how far it's dropping to the middle. Probably from that edge right there to here, we've got about a 6-inch drop. I need to see what it is going out that way, because that's where we need the water to run from. So this entire area from here over to my property line is either completely level with this spot, or there are some spots that are a little lower than this. So there's no way water is going to run over to my ditch. That's why water's standing over there. It's what I was expecting. But the good news is it's not 6 inches or a foot. It's just, 1 to 2 inches lower over there. So I've got a lot of other places to put dirt, but first, let's see how far this goes. I went and got the track loader, and I put the Harley Rake on it. And normally what I would do is carry this dirt to where I want it and then use the Harley Rake to spread it. But I'm wanting such a thin layer. Plus I just like trying different ways to do things. I'm gonna see if I can kind of shred this material with the Harley Rake first and then carry it over there so I can just easily sprinkle it out of the bucket and get an even spread that way without digging up the grass that's already over there. So who knows if that'll work well or not, but I'm gonna give it a try. I don't know if I would call that a success or not. If it was a smaller pile, it would have worked that way. But what I was thinking of is, in times like this before, I've ran a tiller over it to shred the dirt up, make it easier to spread with the box blade. Only difference here is to get to this whole pile, I've got to track over it with the tracks, which just packs it back down. But we'll take the bucket now and we'll spread what I shredded. Then we're going to spread some of this lumpy stuff, and then we'll probably have to run the Harley Rake over there too. It'll all get done. I just kind of play around with techniques and what's more efficient for next time. What I was hoping for is that would spread like loose stone, or you can just sprinkle it out the bucket and it'll spread smooth, but not even close. It's just coming out in clumps. It's not gonna work that way. So hitting it with the Harley Rake over there was probably a waste of time. What I need to do is get that pile spread over all the effective area and then hit it with the Harley Rake. Okay, so I've basically put the dirt where it needs to be. Thin layer on the bank. Everything else is on that side with more towards the back and less as you come forward, trying to create a slope. Now, most people who have a skid loader don't have a Harley Rake, so you just go over it 100 times and your tracks and your bucket just take turns working up those clods. Because the problem I still have with this is it's not loose dirt, it's clods of grass, which is why people wouldn't, nobody's doing their project and ordering in some clumpy sod. But for me, it's a free resource and it's got all that nutrient in it and it's going to work as a good topsoil. You just have to break the clods up. So normally what I would do is drive over it 100 times, let the tracks and the bucket break those clumps up. But since I've got the Harley Rake, I'm going to try it. Now, I find it to be an imperfect tool for an inexperienced operator, because anybody can set it on the ground and drive around. But if you really want it smooth, it takes some practice. And there's always an argument in the comments. You'll have one guy saying, I do that for a living every day, and you only drive going forward. And another guy will say, I've got 40 years of experience, and you only do it going backward. The thing is set up to spin both ways. The deflectors can go both ways. It can rotate both ways. It's preference. Well, I'd say that's not perfect, but it's good enough for who it's for. So previously this bank kind of sloped and then had a drop off and then a flat spot. What I've done is change that into a slope that's more gradual all the way out. And I've raised this level of this a few inches, which is what the goal was. I'll go ahead and check it real quick with the transit level. All right, I just checked it again with the transit. It is looking better. It could still use another inch or two of dirt because it's just barely higher over there than it is right here. But we definitely have more of a natural slope down and less wavy. So I'm gonna call it a success. And I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos. I'll see you next time.